these are two things that I would say is extremely important, okay? When you created your program, you will want to spell it out in a one-page flyer to a prospective investor. We've gone through it, and some of you guys literally came back with 20 pages of information, right? And that's why, because you have to think about a lot of things. But at the end of the day, is the investor going to sit here and read your 20-page promo? Not a chance. You have to have it in one-page, bottom line, highlights. Then when they're interested, you give them the breakdown of the entire program. So you want to make sure that it's in a presentable manner. It's a flyer that's attractive, that's appealing to the investor. Many times, even these things right here, these are actual market reports of Orlando that we use all the time or subscribe for the building owners. And almost everything they do here, even though it's got data, is they put it in such a way that's appealing to the eye. They show you the bottom line in pages because they know most people aren't going to go through the whole thing to find out exactly what your average vacancy rate is in Orlando. You just look at one page and you see the bottom line. If you want to inquire more and see, well, was that a Class C office or was that a Class B office, then you'll go further. So that's the same way with your product. You have to make it so that it's appealing to an investor and that the investor recognizes the value that you're bringing to the table. Then if they want to inquire more, then we go further. Does that make sense? So that's part of what we're doing. Some of you right now have everything written out, but now it's time to condense it and bring it to something that is actually marketable. Okay? Another thing to do, which in the beginning I had no idea about this, so I was just running around like crazy, like, oh, we have the best product in the world, and da-da-da, and then all of a sudden there's competition, right? And so I am not even playing in the same ballpark with my competitors, and I'm wondering why I'm getting smoked. Right? It's because I'm not even competing in the same game. You know, I created my own little world. Right? So even though you want to create your own program and it's custom, the other thing you want to make sure is evaluate it and keep it up to date. Make sure that you're comparable to the actual marketplace. And so that way you're effective. One of the things we do, to give you an example in commercial, is we have some buddies that run hedge funds. So what do? We call them up. In fact, in this very room, we've had many conference calls that say, hey, look, we're working on putting a syndication together for a project. We've got our basic system down, but we want to know exactly what's comparable right now. And then the hedge fund guy says, well, it depends on the risk-reward ratios, but here's typically what we're paying our investors right now. And these guys run hundreds of millions of dollars every year. So is it okay to be comparable to an actual hedge fund with your program? Does that make it appealing? Can you then even refer to some of these bigger funds and say, we're actually a little bit more competitive than them, but we're pretty close because we're very conservative? Absolutely. So that's something you want to consider doing, and as you start growing your portfolio and your network, you'll get contacts all of the time that you can use to really establish a real product that can be in the marketplace and compete and thrive. And that's what's really important. Okay, so this is a real business. This is not, let's come flip one or two deals. This is if you want to build 10, 20, 30, 40 properties a month or buy buildings like this on a consistent basis, it's got to be a product. People have to connect with it. They have to see the vision.